Hi everybody. A student has asked a question about this particular case that's in the short answer questions on the View site. The question is asking you to identify the deadweight loss area. So what makes this a slightly tricky question is that there are negative externalities of production and negative externalities of consumption, and that's why we get the supply curve, the private market supply curve, and the marginal social cost curve diverging, and why the market demand curve and the marginal social benefit curve diverging as well. Alright, so how would we figure out the answer to this question? Let's get rid of all the letters there to make things nice and clear. The first thing we need to do is to identify what would be the socially optimal output. That's going to be the output at which the marginal benefit to the society as a whole just equals the marginal cost to the society as a whole. And that is the intersection of the two red lines. That will give us our socially optimal output. So far so good. And we know that in that case the total economic welfare being generated for the society as a whole will be this triangle here. All of the area under the marginal social benefit curve and above the marginal social cost curve up to the socially optimal output. Alright, but we can also see that in a free market environment, this will not be the output which is actually generated. The output which will actually be generated will be determined by demand and supply, the interaction of demand and supply. That is, the free market quantity is going to be here. So, it means that we have produced up to the socially optimal quantity and therefore generated economic surplus for the society, as we already discussed, but then went on to produce more than that, so that the amount being produced ends up, the marginal social cost of the amount being produced ends up being far greater than the marginal social benefit of that amount being produced. That is, the cost to the society is greater than the benefit to society. And that is true for every increment of output beyond the optimum point. So we are effectively taking away from the positive economic surplus which had been generated. What we can call that is the deadweight loss of economic welfare, that area there. So, when we go back to our original graph, we're just looking for that area here. FGHK. That's the answer to that question. Alright, get back to studying.